and welcome to the next episode of the Live Your Spa Life show. Spa Life is a lifestyle that accepts that accomplishment and harmony coexist. The Spa and Spa Life, the SPA, is for Seek Power Always, that power within you to do your greater work here in the world. I am so thrilled to introduce my special guest today, who is sometimes referred to by her clients and friends as the glue, the connector. Bo Urbanski, together with her husband, Adam, owns a company called Marketing Mentors. As a team, they work with successful B2B coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs who want to better monetize their unique brilliance, attract more clients fast, convert more high-value sales, build an authority brand, and grow a business to create bigger impact. Bo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. It's so exciting. You know, Carrie and I do work together, and I just wanted to start with, a lot of times people say, oh, I could never work with my significant other. Talk a little bit what it's been like working together with your husband, Adam.
Right. It's been a roller coaster. Thank you for asking the question. And it can be tough at times when life and business collide. So, you really have to define the lines when you discuss business and when you are switching into the husband and wife and parent mode. And frequently we find ourselves discussing business on road trips, during dinners, during family time. So it really is very important to set those boundaries. And it's a learning process. After 27 years of being married and pretty much a lot of the time being in business together, it's still an experience and a learning experience. So we're still defining how it looks like.
Right. Well, I so appreciate that because you guys make it look effortless, and, people say that with us as well. And I know that one of the things that we've shifted in the last couple of years is actually having work hours, and it's easier said than done, but, especially when you live under the same roof, it seems like you can just work 24/7. And so, setting some of those boundaries has been kind of helpful for us. But I love just the, being able to maneuver that and see what that looks like and what you've created. And especially as far as like what you've created, you guys are known about using the Revenue RevUp method. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that and how you utilize that to support people.
Right. So we've been in the coaching business for over 20 years. So I think that the way that coaching business looks like was defined by some of the early coaching pioneers like Adam. And throughout the years, the coaching has changed. There were a lot of instances where people would create programs that didn't create results for their clients. And about 3 years ago, we got discouraged by this situation in the coaching industry and decided that we really want to create results for and with our clients. So that's how the Revenue RevUp intensive or Revenue RevUp method started, where we really focus on generating revenue, tangible revenue for our clients and measuring it and being very specific about results. We have about 90% success ratio with our clients in our Revenue RevUp intensive program, just because we focus on making sure that people get results and not just go through the motion of going through the program or going through just another event or consuming another content. One of the things that we propose in our world is information is supplemental, implementation is fundamental. So just focusing on implementation that creates results.
I love that. Can you actually say that again? Because I know some of our listeners are driving in their car and they might be doing some multitasking, but this is important. Let's say that again about the information versus implementation.
Right. So information is supplemental, implementation is crucial.
Right.
Fundamental.
Absolutely. Well, because we are in this like information overload, right? There's just so much more information that's out there. And so how are you helping your clients really distinguish between, just getting one more course and getting one more thing? And what are some of the things that you're encouraging them to implement?
Well, there are three things really that we are focusing on or having our clients to focus on, and that is defining their offer that sells. So creating an offer that people need and want and would get from you. So really identifying the problem and the solution that you provide for your client, being crystal clear what is it that you are helping your clients solve. So offer is number one. Number two is generating leads. So really connecting with your ideal clients, talking to your ideal clients in the language that they understand. And number three is converting those leads into sales. So this is, it's a very clear focus: offer, leads, and conversion. Everything else is a distraction. You can, you can go and start learning about Facebook Live. You can go ahead and learn about Instagram, LinkedIn, new tactics and new things that are fun and really are supplemental to what you are doing. But if you do not know what you're offering your clients, what problem you are solving, how you are going to get your leads, who is your ideal client, so to speak, and how you are going to convert them and get the sale that sticks, you have no business being in business, really.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you talking about the distractions, right? Because there's so many shiny objects out there. There's so many different things that are happening, but, really looking what are the basic building blocks to allow you to actually have traction and move forward. You are the quiet yet powerful force that's behind the business, making sure that there's no glitches and things run smoothly. How are you able to help people simplify their business? Like, I know that you're actually someone who actually loves creating systems and processes, and I know a lot of people shy away from that. How are you stepping into that and utilizing that to help people simplify their business?
So in a nutshell, I leave coaching part to Adam, and he's the person that is most visible in our business as a marketing mentor business. What I do is I work behind the scenes and create all kind of spreadsheets and things that help us measure the results for our clients and encourage the clients to implement that in their own business. So my background is actually in accounting, and as an accountant, aka controller, I can see the value in having structure and systems in your business. So whether it is measuring your revenue, measuring the amount of leads that you bring into your business, how you convert those, documenting it and tracking it every step of the way of building your business. That's what we encourage and help our clients do. And I think this is the part in business that being or having this accounting or systematic background that is very cyclical helps me understand which parts you need to pay attention to as a business owner to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So blocking your time. So that's one system, how you block your time. Another one, paying attention to numbers. Another one, reviewing things on regular basis. So this is what I help implement in our own business and how we teach our clients to implement in their own business.
Do you see any patterns with businesses or people in general that they're missing certain foundations or processes? Is there something that kind of comes up that's consistent across your clients?
Yes, I think that a lot of people don't realize that when they start in business, they do things that they love and they are passionate about solving the problem. And it can be either mindset coaching or whatever kind of coaching. We work mostly with coaches, and our sweet spot is business coaches. But a lot of people don't realize that they are passionate about something and they do not document their path. So the common denominator that I see out there is people do not document things enough and fall into the trap of recreating things. So first of all, document things that you are doing to create a system. And whether it is step 1, 2, 3, now you have a system, how you work with your clients, how you help your clients overcome whatever obstacle, whether you are a fitness coach or business coach or life coach. Just document things that you do and turn them into the system. So create the checklists, create the processes and steps in the processes. That's one of the things that a lot of people do not put in place when they first go into business. They kind of it hits them a little bit later. And they think, okay, I should have done it.
Right.
Always document what you do.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of times what they're doing is they're like reinventing the wheel. Like it's like everything is like new every single time. And when you're saying by documenting the process, they're looking at what are the things that they're saying over and over again. What are they, there's a certain path that they're sending people on, even though, how do you answer some people? They say, well, oh, my people are unique and they're different and I have all these different ways to do it. Do you find that even in the uniqueness that there can be different tweaks, but that there are foundational steps of how people actually do business?
Absolutely. There are foundational steps on how people do business, and it all boils down to actually selling. I think that if you don't know how to sell, and the sales is the three-part process that I described, knowing what to sell, which is your offer. Number two, getting enough leads so that you can make the offer. And number three is closing the sale. So there are common themes that recur when people talk, even though people think that they are unique, that their problems are like nobody else's problems. I think that they are all the same. You can identify just several different problems in business: money problem, sale problem, lead problem, and offer problem. Okay, and it's the same in other types of coaching. When you are a fitness coach, it is either nutrition or movement, right? So even when people come, okay, no, I'm diabetic, or I have heart problem, you don't know I'm unique. No, there are only several different items that you can focus on. So don't focus on uniqueness, focus on common denominators and create the solution that speaks to that. You can always tweak it and enhance it with different additional bonuses or things, that complement that, but focus on the core items, on the core problems that people have, that majority of your clients have.
Yeah, sage advice. What I'm hearing is that you have a broad stroke, right? Here are the areas that you're looking at, and then you can do refinements, but you can have like these broad strokes to lead them through so that you're not reinventing the wheel, and that you have your process that is documented. Now, you mentioned in the beginning too that you are a mother of two grown-up daughters.
Yeah.
Are they interested at all in the family business, and how are you balancing that family life with the work?
I wish that they were. So it was our hope, mine and Adam's, that they would eventually end up in our business. And lo and behold, they are both in sales, but they are not working for us. So I still hope that they will kind of get their experience somewhere else and come back to the family business. I think that growing up around marketing mentors, they saw us really grinding it in business. Like the entrepreneurial business is a roller coaster. We go through highs and we go through lows, and sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And we started with the boundaries, right? With dividing the family time and the business time, and they saw this fluctuation of those two times converging, and they were like, I don't know if this is something that we want to get into. But they also saw some freedom and liberty that we had. So I could, like when they were in elementary school, I can drop everything and go and pick them up and go and take them to swimming practice or to water polo practice. And I think that right now they are realizing, okay, we had the privilege of getting some things done or participating in certain things because mom had the liberty to come and be there for us. Or we could go and be at all the swim meets and all the water polo games just because we could organize our time in such a way that would allow us to do so. So my hope is that if they do not join our business, that they would actually both be entrepreneurs. I think that they both have entrepreneurial minds. They don't know it yet. I mean, they realizing it.
Right. Well, so you and Adam really instilled the entrepreneurial spirit by them seeing it. And, I believe I misspoke earlier when I said balance, because I really try not to actually use that word, because I think it's important to have this conversation that there really isn't balance in an entrepreneurial world. I think that I like to refer to it as harmony. Where are you injecting things to counterbalance the things that are happening? But you have times where, you've got launches, or you're on a speaking tour, there's things that you're doing and you do feel out of sorts with it, but you're right, it's important to inject, like, how is this going to be part of our overall plan and what we're doing together. And one of the things I'm looking at here is that over the span, several decades that you guys have been in business together and in a marriage, is it looking like you had planned from the beginning, and where are you headed from here?
Wow, having a plan in the beginning. I think that we sort of did and didn't. So to start with, Adam was always an entrepreneur. I think that he has not worked for any business. He was always in business for himself. So we started actually almost 30 years ago in a restaurant business. We owned bagel stores here in Southern California. And then in 2020, sold the bagel stores and went into the coaching business. But at that time, I was working full-time in the corporate world. I was working in finance until 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago. So the plan was, like one of us would be working so that we have this stability and maybe benefits. And I was a little bit resistant in joining the business. And at some point, I think something just changed when I was sitting in the kitchen at the end of the month, working on month close and being connected on the computer to the computer at work, and thinking, what the heck am I doing at almost midnight working for somebody? If I could put at least half of the effort that I'm putting for somebody else into our own business, where would we be? So that became a plan of bringing me on board and working together in a business. So I think that we clarified our pathway kind of mid-flight. So didn't have a plan, then started having a plan, and it's still being clarified. I think that our greater plan is to help as many people as we can to get as much revenue as they can, and as they possibly can, and spread the genius and create limitless impact. So the plan is within the next 5 years to grow our Revenue RevUp method and bring it to a larger audience, to bring it to more people so that our clients in turn can impact even more people through their brilliance. And after the 5 years, I would like to look for some kind of exit, and we are looking actually for some exit strategy for running the business that can run without us, and really not being the business, but being part of the business to be able to bring, and we are bringing already other coaches and other people who can work this method and help us out.
Yeah, well, I so appreciate sharing that path, because a lot of times, people think that they have to figure it all out in the beginning. And although it's great to have a plan and know where you're going, but that is part of entrepreneurship, is pivoting and seeing where you might make some shifts and changes. And, when I was with the police department, I had that, that set time, and moving into entrepreneurs, a whole different mindset of looking things in a different way. But you actually have a lot more control about what that's going to look like. And, you can't work all the time, or you shouldn't work all the time, but you want to be clear and still have some structure around your work, and being able to take some of those skills from the business world into the entrepreneurial world. So I love how you've really utilized that, and you've really fortified that in your family business. One of the things I always like to ask my guests is, we're talking about creating things, we're creating business, but also in our home, our environments are so important. And we feel differently in our bedroom versus our kitchen versus our office. What's your favorite room in your home, and why?
That's a great question. I didn't give it a thought, or I think that I do not consider myself overly creative. I leave that part to Adam. However, recently I realized that I am very creative in the kitchen. I do not like cooking, and my idea of cooking is creating something that you can have ready in 30 minutes. And in that respect, I'm very creative. I create delicious dinners and lunches that I can whip up on a whim with very few ingredients in less than 30 minutes. So I think that my favorite place, lo and behold, is kitchen, actually.
I love that. I love that. Well, here you have a system for your cooking.
There you go. I think that because it's organized, so yeah, there you go. It allows me to be a little bit creative in an organized manner. There you go.
Yes, I love that. That is so perfect. Well, I love that you're a systems person, because I love systems too. I love, I help people organize their life, as part of their work-life balance as well, whatever that looks like for them. And, designing your life and actually being intentional with this. You talk about taking full ownership of your emotions, your thoughts, actions. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So I think that a lot of us play victimhood to circumstances, to other people's thoughts and reactions to us. And I believe that we are truly responsible for whatever we think, whatever we feel, and whatever we do. So that idea of extreme ownership of you as a whole person is very important to me. I have a little kind of system around that, and I call it circle of self-clarity. So first of all, it's simplifying everything in your life. And I love that your background is in organizing and helping people systemize things and spaces and their life. So I'm a huge proponent on simplifying things and helping people simplify their businesses, their lives. So simplify is number one of this whole system of self-clarity. Number two is always looking to expand your mind, your spirit, your health, and your awareness. So I read a lot. I listen on Audible to a lot of books. By default, I listen to a lot of things that we do with our clients. Adam is a content machine, so it's constantly listening to him helping our clients. And I'm pretty much on every single coaching call, group coaching call, and Q&A calls that we have. So always working on expanding my mind and my spirit through all kind of different techniques like meditation, yoga, whatever helps me expand myself as a person. Then another thing is looking for places where I can share compassion and love. So whether it is in deepening my relationships with not many people, but few. So that's very important to me, the love element. And another thing with the L letter is leveraging time and leveraging that compassion so that you can deliver it to as many people as you possibly can in a short amount of time that we have in here. And number four, or the last part, is extreme focus. So focusing on things that really help you propel yourself to the next level, achieve your goal, or get to that next step. And focus is very, very important as far as deciding what you want to say yes or no to. And again, I am a big advocate of saying no more often than yes. So if I get engaged in things, it's very few, but very meaningful things.
Yes, I love that. I love the structure of that. I love really checking in with ourselves. I think it is so important. I love the conversation around simplifying, because I believe that any area you simplify in your life, you are creating space for, anything that you want to do, right? I mean, if you have such a cluttered life, whether it's mind or space, you have no room for anything. So we want to be able to create that for ourselves. Now, I don't hear the word stoic very often. And you talk about applying a stoic approach to life. Please elaborate on that one, girlfriend.
Well, so I've read a lot of books, and a lot of books refer to all kind of different old wisdom and ancient ancient wisdom, right? So usually I like to go for the source. So at one point I went to explore Buddhism just because people refer to, like this oneness and wholeness, embracing meditation and working on your mind. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to listen to what their reiteration of that is. I'm going to study it for myself, right? And recently I read the book called Obstacle is the Way. I think it's Ryan Holiday. And he was referring to Stoicism, but I've heard about that many different times. And I'm like, yes, I think that this is something that I practiced along the way. And that is embracing what is. So really living in the space of gratitude. That what Stoicism is about. It's appreciating, it's this whole concept of carpe diem, seizing the day, appreciating moment for what it is, living in the moment, living in the now. And one of the biggest advocates of Stoicism is Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome, but he was also a philosopher. I highly encourage everybody to read Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. And it really is about living in the now and appreciating what you have, living in the space of gratitude. That's what it is. It's just a different name of living gratitude, life of gratitude and life of appreciation.
I love it. I love it. It's you're talking about simplification and essentialism. Have you read the book Essentialism?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love that book.
On the Audible. I love it too.
I listen to it all. I have the book and the Audible, right? Because there's just always different aspects about it. And for those of you who've not heard that, really hone in on what he refers to in that book as the asset, about being the asset. So the acronym Bo was talking about was self. It's all about how are you doing what you do in life in order to protect the asset, which is yourself. If you don't have that self-care, you don't take care of yourself, you don't have these simplification, then you're going to limit yourself. And so I love all this conversation around that. And, we talked too about, there's times in our life that we feel disempowered on our road to being empowered. Now, you came from another country. I'd love for you to share about some disempowering experiences around that led you to then stand in your power.
Yes, so I came 30 years ago. Actually, I'm going to celebrate 30th anniversary on March 13th. I came from Poland, which at that time was already shifting from what was socialism and communism to more democratic model. And right now it's the beautiful country. I highly encourage everybody to go and visit. I think it's #1 country in Europe to just go and knock off the bucket list. Beautiful and beautiful people, beautiful culture. But it wasn't so 30 years ago. So I actually grew up, I went all the way through college in Poland under the socialist rule, and it wasn't fun. So many people don't realize that we did have at one point in 1980 martial law where food was rationed, when we didn't have opportunity to buy shoes and clothes. It was all rationed. You got a little coupon and you would once a year, you would go and buy a pair of shoes. You would have certain amount of sugar, alcohol, and meat per month, per family. So it was hard. And at that point, I didn't see many opportunities for me to just do much in Poland. And that's why I decided to leave 30 years ago and come to the US, started in New York at first. But I think that this was the biggest struggle, being in the country where you know that you have a potential and not seeing a vision for yourself. So I felt a little bit let down by what was in there, and decided to take a leap of faith and go across the ocean completely alone, with friends, but alone without my family, and start my life in here. And just trust in my guts, in my intuition, in my intelligence, in whatever I learned, and build a life in here.
What a courageous experience to, think about this for our listeners. Would you be willing to completely shift your life right now to not only move down the street, but leave the country, right? And come from that place. How was that experience for you empowering? You know, coming here to the United States, what do you think that experience, what kind of foundation in that has led you to be a more powerful person?
I think that it made me realize that I can trust myself enough to just go and start from the beginning without anything, without a support system of the family, without friends that I left behind, without anything that was familiar and known, and just trusting myself and trusting that I am enough wherever I go. I think that there is this saying, wherever you go, there you are. And you know, wherever you take yourself, you can build an amazing life if you have it in you. And I think that this experience taught me that, you know, no matter what happened, no matter what hardship I might have, wherever I go, I have me, and I can build upon that. But it's a strong belief in yourself. I think that's what, and I think that's what true power is. When you know that no matter what happens around, you know, like life brings us all kind of different hard experiences, breakups, losses, death, and if you truly believe that you can survive, then you can thrive. If you believe that you have everything that you need in you, you can build an amazing life with that. Yes.
I'm hearing the word resilience, right? There's such resilience in who you are. And I so appreciate you sharing your wisdom, and I love it. And I know that our listeners are going to want to stay in contact with you. How can they do that?
Okay, so the best way to stay in contact with me is through Facebook. So on Facebook, actually, my full name is Bożena Klauda Urbanski, which is Bozena, then Klauda Urbanski. I go by Bo just for short. So connect with me on Facebook, and Facebook Messenger is a good place to go. I usually respond to people who connect with me there. And I think that if you want to see what I'm doing on Instagram, at Boski, Boski on Instagram is my handle as well.
Okay, perfect. And you also have a great blueprint on your website. Would you like to share how people can get you there as well?
Sure. So the website that we have is themarketingmentors.com. That's themarketingmentors.com. And right now we have this $1 million blueprint, how to turn your coaching into $1 million business. So if you just go ahead and drop the email in there, you will get immediately instant access to the PDF and the tutorial video. And just because we do not do that much over the email, you would not be spammed by email messages. You will really get a great content in there. And again, remember in the beginning, I said information is supplemental, implementation is fundamental. Whatever you get, this first PDF, just take action on that. Don't look for anything else, just take action on that. And one more thing, if you want to check out the Fastest Path to Cash Facebook group that's run by me and Adam, actually Adam, right? He's the content machine. There's a lot of good stuff if you are a business coach, if you're a coach, consultant, some great stuff in there as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for everything. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate you inviting me to your spa life world. And I love the abbreviation or what it stands for, stay in your power always, because I think that often we do not realize how much power we have until somebody asks us or points it to us. So I appreciate you inviting me and actually pointing it to me. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure to have you. And I know that our listeners are going to want to stay in contact with you. So we'll have all those links in the show notes as well. And for our listeners, our most precious resource is our time. I so appreciate you taking that time with us here. And whatever your platform that you're looking on, please put in a comment something that you took away. So maybe you have a question. Make sure that you tag both Bo and myself, because we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And this is a collaboration, right? This is how we get positive works out in the world. And so you can best support that by subscribing, and your 5-star rating is much appreciated. And when you put in the reviews, that's how it expands out into the world. So really appreciate you taking a moment just to put down a word or two of maybe what you'd like to see in the future, what you enjoyed here today, and that really supports all of us. So until we connect again, live your spa life. Bye for now.